our growth levels are half what they were in the last 2 or 3 decades. Our productivity levels are now lower. The growth rate is now lower than it was at any time, academics tell me, since the Industrial Revolution. Investment in this country is far lower as a percentage of national income than almost all our major competitors. The regional economic inequalities in our country are now so serious that they demand urgent action. And of course, as a result of that, standards of living for people in this country are continuing to fall. There has got to be a turnaround strategy. We cannot govern in the way we have been doing if we are going to make this a decade when we can see an economic recovery in our fortunes. We need to think with almost military precision about how we can put our economy on a war footing so that we are in a position to solve the problems that I've just identified.
I supported food banks myself, but with a mortgage increase of £700 a month as a health professional, I'm going to struggle to help other people. Right. I don't think that you understand what it's like to be on the shop floor, so to speak. You're richer than the king. I don't believe that you understand how hard it is for people to support food banks. Okay. We need investment and we need the food to come down in price. And
well, not even the Prime Minister, except he doesn't control food prices.
That's not correct. The government can control the price of food. It has levers it can pull by subsidising food production and encouraging landowners to produce food. And at the moment, they are paying farmers to plant flowers and do environmental schemes. This government removed food as a public good and switched it to the environment. Not only that, when Ed Davey, now leader of the Liberal Democrats, was Secretary of State in the coalition government, he decided to subsidise landowners in North America predominantly to cut down their trees and chip the wood, send it over here in ships, and they burn it in Drax power for electricity. This is supposedly good for the environment, but it is largely accepted that this is just greenwashing. But it means that we have lost control of the price of energy, and just the same thing is happening with food. As we fall to rely on imported food, we will lose control of the price of food. And that is why we talk about food security. There is a link in the text below to a video about Drax Power. Do spend the time and watch it, it's worthwhile.
Do you accept you're rich, Prime Minister?
Yeah, yes, but I didn't. I'm very fortunate in my life. I have been, right, and I think that's the type. I'm not going to apologise for that because my parents worked really hard to give me and my brother and sister a good life.
Relating to ordinary folk, is it a hindrance?
I think people can see my actions.
The prices of energy and food directly impact us all, and this is where we should be concerned about having control. Instead, what we've had for the last 8 years is people obsessing about the European Union, which ensured fairness and control with good laws, which we, in the end, decided to leave because people got confused about the hunt for sovereignty. And now we have totally lost control.
Which laws are you thinking about?
I'm not that clever, mate.
No, but you can't dislike something that you can't describe. The law that you really didn't like, just one law that you.
So you're saying that the laws were passed in by the EU in Brussels.
Yeah.
Had no effect on us.
I'm saying they were also
passed
here.
Oh, no, we're not taking any.
Tell me what law you're talking about. Tell me what law you're talking about, and I'll answer you.
I'm telling you, I'm not that.
Yeah, but there must be one law. If this is your entire political position is based upon the idea that you resent having to follow these laws, you must be able to tell me one law that you resent having to follow.
No, I'm just saying in general.
Yeah, and I'm saying, all right.
You tell me one law that they made that we could have stopped following then.
Clean rivers?
Sorry?
Clean rivers, we've stopped following that?
Well, while we was in the EU?
Yeah, we had cleaner rivers then than we do now.
The laws that they made in the EU, we could have just ignored.
No, mate, I'm asking you which laws you wanted to ignore.
I didn't follow it that closely. I'm not that clever.
Mate, listen, Simon, you are clever. You must know. You say to me, I don't like that.
Listen, I'm saying to you.
Oh, this is surreal.
If they made laws in the EU, could we have just ignored it?
Simon, we're not
taking notice of that law.
We were in the EU. We were part of the lawmaking process. We sat in the Parliament. We wrote the laws, and then they
about 1/32 of the EU.
Mate, look at what Margaret Thatcher achieved with regards to the single market. She practically invented it, Simon.
Okay.
First morning out for Speckle Hen and mates. Hello, Specks. They've actually spent the last half an hour running around the field and are now exhausted. Their first trip out. Oh, Specs. I'm not here for eating. So they'll probably have a sleep in the sun, I think, probably under the trees in a bit. First taste of real grass. That's Mildred. Haven't named this one yet. Speckle. Out campaigning last week, Rishi Sunak couldn't even convince some sheep to support him. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Do comment below, let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe.